Hey, I think we're live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me. It's Mike. We're doing a live stream. We're getting hyped. Production team, are we live? We are live. We're getting the thumbs up. That means we are live. Welcome in, everybody. Mike, the Fantasy Hitman, Wright from the Fantasy Footballers. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to live stream. We're going to hang out. We're going to answer some questions. Maybe talk about some time travel. Hey, boys, you guys want to talk about my time travel tweet? That was a hot tweet. That was a good tweet. But no, we're kicking off a week of live streaming because football is back. We are getting hyped. It is happening. We're going to see the pigskin moving around through the air sooner than later. Got to be ready, though. Got to be ready for those fantasy drafts. Make sure you pick up an Ultimate Draft Kit. You can do that. Wait, can I do this? At this website below. Look. UltimateDraftKit.com. Look, it's right there. Hey, let's get into some questions. Do we have any questions here? I don't know. But let's go over there. Oh, yes, we do. Oh, we got some really good ones, guys. We got some good questions here, like from Noah. Says, GOAT, Mike. Thanks, Noah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Let's see what Jose had to say. Oh, he says, hey, Mike. How you doing? How's everybody doing? Oh, Shay wants to know what's popping. This live stream is popping. It's lit. It's hot. It's all of the things. It's all the things. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing on here, but here we go. I think we finally had a question from Cliff. Cliff, thank you for joining the live stream. What can I get for Keenan Allen in Dynasty? Well, I would say this. I'm not actively shopping Keenan Allen. The problem comes in making trades. If you say, hey, I want to trade you Keenan Allen, it diminishes the value of the player. It diminishes the value of what you're going to get back in the trade. Keenan Allen is awesome. I don't know if you know this, but Keenan Allen says that he is the best wide receiver in the AFC. I think he said hands down or something. He followed up the tweet with something pretty silly of shouting into the void that he is the best wide receiver in the AFC. Look, he's very, very good. I don't need to argue if he's the best or not. He's very, very good. He is an elite wide receiver. He's going to be okay. We are concerned about him this year with Tyrod Taylor or Justin Herbert coming in. Like, you got to be a little bit worried. You don't know who the quarterback is going to be. Is it going to be Taylor who scrambles? I mean, Taylor has supported a high-level fantasy wide receiver once upon a time in the Lizard King, Sammy Watkins. Is Herbert ready for the NFL? These are just questions we have about him this year. So you got to have some concerns, and they're fair. But long term, look, I'm not trying to shop Keenan Allen. If I'm shopping Keenan Allen, I'm getting probably a couple firsts, maybe a first and a younger player who I already know that they're proven. I'm not completely gambling for like low value assets. Like, just don't trade Keenan Allen. You don't really need to do it. You don't really need to do it. We got Benjamin Sullivan. That was my Monsters Inc. impersonation. All right. Jarvis Landry or Cortland Sutton for 2020 and Dynasty. All right, Dynasty, I want Cortland Sutton. It looks like a young superstar wide receiver. Not that Jarvis Landry's bad or anything. He's been quite good. An interesting stat that I bring up for tomorrow's podcast, because we recorded the NFC East. As you see, I had to let the world know that it's Jarwin's season. But I brought up a point of Michael Gallup, who surpassed 1,100 yards in his rookie season, or his sophomore season, and how the hit list for those wide receivers it correlates very, very, very strongly with those players turning into very valuable fantasy wide receivers, good NFL wide receivers. Cortland Sutton is among that group. And what's interesting, I think Jarvis Landry was also in that group, which proved the hit list of Jarvis Landry turned into a very good wide receiver who's been great for fantasy purposes. But I'm going to take Cortland for Dynasty. Probably taking him for both. That's tough. I might take Jarvis. I don't want to pull up all my rankings right now because we're having so much fun on the live stream. Let's see. Lauren, hey. Lauren Carpenter. She does some writing for the Fantasy Footballers. Let's see. Scrolling down. Lots of people saying it's football time. Look, you won't be disappointed by the opening of tomorrow's podcast. But Philip wants to know, if I want Jacobs or Mixon, is the 10 pick too high in a 12-team PPR? I like to go 2 running backs. I don't believe it is. Josh Jacobs should be there on the way back if you don't take him at the number 10. So if your plan is you want both of these guys, I would go Mixon, take the gamble that Josh Jacobs is going to make it back. I think he will. Andy is madly in love with Joe Mixon and his football ability. Look, Joe Mixon is very good. They fixed things over the second half of the year. They started running out of different personnel, and it was very successful for Joe Mixon. But we've seen what the floor looks like for Joe Mixon, and it's the first half of the season where he was borderline droppable from your fantasy roster. You have a rookie quarterback. I mean, the coaching staff is in place, so you don't have to really worry about that. But I have my concerns about Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is in that category of like Miles Sanders, where I know what they can be. I know what they can be, and that is true 3-down running backs. Josh Jacobs, I'm very secure in his role. I don't know if the passing work will get where you want it to be, but then again, Joe Mixon didn't really have that passing work last year either. But anyways, the 10 spot, I don't think that's too early at all. Welcome in to a week of live streaming. If you are just joining us, I'm Mike from the Fantasy Footballers. We're going to be streaming a little bit each day, so make sure you're following us on the socials at the FF Ballers on Twitter, at Fantasy Footballers on Instagram, because we're getting people hyped, man. We're getting excited. We're going to be talking about the Ultimate Draft Kit. That's what we're here to talk about, Ultimate Draft Kit. Make sure you pick it up. It's hot. It's getting updated. It's about to get really updated as training camp happens. These battles, these positional battles shake out. We see who's rising, who's falling. Make sure you're staying up to date. UltimateDraftKit.com. It's going to be updated. And we are getting hyped. The questions are coming in. They're coming in hot and heavy. It's very hard to follow. But I'm going to do my best. Let's see here. Oh, goodness gracious. What is this? Okay, thoughts on CeeDee Lamb this year in Dallas is from Michael Turner. We highlight Dallas in tomorrow's episode where we break down the NFC East. I like CeeDee Lamb a lot. He still is my favorite rookie wide receiver coming out of this draft class. You can argue Jerry Jeudy, whatever. I like CeeDee Lamb. I think he's in a very good position because he should be set up with his franchise quarterback in Dak Prescott, assuming they don't bungle things and have a Kirk Cousins situation and they get Dak under contract. Now, he's the third option. Can Dak sustain 3 wide receivers long term? I think he can. I'm not calling Dak Aaron Rodgers, but we've seen certain quarterbacks when they have enough efficiency, when they have enough volume, and Dak was both. Dak had high volume, and Dak was also very efficient for fantasy purposes. So I still like CeeDee Lamb. I don't really like him his rookie year. I like other rookie wide receivers more. Moving to the next question here. Tyler wants to know, Carson or Melvin Gordon? It's definitely a riskier pick. I want Chris Carson. Chris Carson was absolutely fantastic for fantasy purposes. He was great on the Seahawks as the primary guy. The receptions went up. The touchdowns were there. They're going to be a great offense again. He has the broken hip that he's recovering from. That is a little bit unfortunate because you can't say right now that you guarantee that Chris Carson is ready for the beginning of the season. I think he will be. Seattle, of course, they brought in Carlos Hyde. They drafted DJ Dallas. They're preparing just in case. But they have said all along, this is Chris Carson's job. That's great. I mean, we can assume that from the Denver Broncos because they gave Melvin Gordon the money. They gave him a little, not a big bag, medium-sized bag. But Melvin Gordon will be competing with back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher, Phillip Lindsay. On top of that, Melvin Gordon he's fine. He's an okay, I feel like I'm trashing Melvin Gordon. Like, he's not my favorite running back, and I don't really love the situation for him in Denver. Like, he made a lot of his hay, a lot of his fantasy points from touchdowns. Are those touchdowns going to come in Denver with Drew Lock at the same rate that they were coming when he was the main running back behind a Phillip Rivers, who like Phillip Rivers probably won't be in the Hall of Fame, but if Phillip Rivers had won a Super Bowl or two, he would be in the Hall of Fame. Like, his numbers are absolutely outrageous when you go and you look at what he has done, Phillip Rivers' entire body of work. So between the two of these guys, it's pretty easy. I'm going with Chris Carson. As soon as we get the green flag that Chris Carson is healthy, then it's not even close. Not even close. All right. Clayton Allen. Saquon or Kamara with the second pick, half-point PPR. It's Saquon Barkley for me. I get it. Alvin Kamara should return to form with more touchdowns, more opportunity. We just highlighted how many carries he had inside the 5. It was weirdly low for the whole team, really. But having said that, Saquon Barkley can easily be the number one running back on the year. I don't see Kamara hitting that unless there's some outrageous, 16 rushing touchdowns, which I guess it's in the range of outcomes for Alvin Kamara, but it's just not highly likely. Meanwhile, Saquon Barkley is just a beast. You saw what he could do when he was healthy. The end of last year, won people fantasy championships in those weekends. My goodness. Who is it? Brooks is here.
Heyo.
Oh, can they hear you?
I hope so.
We think they can hear us? Well, it's just me and Brooks right now holding down the Fantasy Footballers headquarters. Thank you for joining me. If you're just joining, it's a week of live stream hype from the Fantasy Footballers. It's our gift to you. You support the show. You listen. We give. You give. Look, it's a circle of giving. It's a circle of trust. And it's nice right now. It's nice that football is back, that football is going to be happening. We're very, very excited for it. Once again, please, if you haven't checked it out yet, ultimatedraftkit.com. It's the best way to get ready for your drafts. I guarantee it. That's a Mike Fantasy Hitman Wright stamp of approval, stamp of guarantee that the Ultimate Draft Kit is the absolute best value in fantasy football. You should really go check it out. There's a bunch of really cool stuff. Plus, our tiered rankings, which are, look, it's a little fart sniffy, but it's usually Jason's job, but our rankings are certified good. Just look at Fantasy Pros. All right, we'll answer a couple more quick questions, and then I got to skedaddle. Let's see here. Jonathan Ziegler says, yo, I want to be in a league with you guys. How can I do that? Well, the Listener League is really the only way. You could have gotten a lucky draw for the Scotty Fish Bowl, but the Listener League is the way to get in. We run it every year. If we do a 14-teamer, all three of us have our own teams, and the way to get in that you have to stay tuned. That one you're going to have to listen to the podcast. I'm not going to announce any details from the Listener League quite yet. We're going to, let's see. Oh, from Greg, I look like Andy with tattoos. Well, I guess you just said that Andy's really handsome, so take that. All right. Jason says, tight end to target outside of the big three for mid to late rounders who need to focus on running backs and wide receivers. Basically, if a later round tight end, look no further than the man on my T-shirt. Brooks, are you in on Blake Jarwin?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're in on Blake Jarwin. All right. Let's just, randomly go. Well, I guess it's a little bit trepidatious here, Brooks. If I'm just going to, willy-nilly randomly pick and throw it up there, I don't know what's going to happen. That could be dangerous. This is a family show. Let's see here. Oh, someone just asked how much we curse off here. That's funny timing. Here we go. Connor, Marvin Jones or McCole Hardman? This is a Marvin Jones podcast. This is a pro Marvin Jones podcast. There's a really fun game on tomorrow's episode. It's called Amari Cooper or Marvin Jones. I'll leave it to that. Hopefully you enjoyed my last game of, what was the last? Oh, Todd Gurley or David Montgomery. So if you liked that game, you're going to like what you hear. All right. Daniel says, keep Thielen, Ridley, or Juju. Already keeping Devontae Adams and Saquon Barkley. So between Adam Thielen, Calvin Ridley, or Juju, I'm going with the elder statesman. I'll keep Adam Thielen there. I feel the most confident about him. I don't think he has to break out. Like Ridley could break out really, really easy. It's there for him, but it has to happen. Thielen's path has been cleared even more with Stephon Diggs being traded to the Buffalo Bills. Let's see. I was double-clicking when I shouldn't. All right. Josh says David Johnson or David Montgomery in PPR Dynasty. That's actually a very tough question. I think it's David Montgomery. I'll take the youth, even though David Johnson still has his contract. But I'll take David Montgomery. Raul wants to know Julio Jones or Devontae Adams in a PPR. Oof. All right, that is a brutal question. Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas, they all can easily finish as the number one overall. But PPR, I think, sets it off a little bit for Julio Jones for me. He just is he gets the targets, he gets them a lot. Gets them fast, he gets them furious. All right. Golladay or Godwin? Brooks, why am I pulling up hard questions? Brooks, I'm going to throw it to you for Gabe. Galladay or Chris Godwin?
I love Kenny G.
Yeah.
Going Kenny G.
Look, I think I'm going with that one, too. I'm going with that one. Galladay doesn't have the variables. Look, I get it. He's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. Still a variable. It's still a quarterback who has to change teams and learn a new system. All right. We're going to get out on this question here. Before we get out, make sure you check out the Ultimate Draft Kit, ultimatedraftkit.com. It's the only tool you need for the draft season. Dippin says Jarwin season. Yes, indeed. I won't take that cop out. I'll do an actual question. Sorry. Oh, here we go. Dylan or Dylon, who spits hot fire, says, keep trade cut, Dynasty Edition, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Carson Wentz. I am going to keep Josh Allen. I am going to trade. Who has more value, Joe Burrow or Carson Wentz? What a wild question to be asking right now. It's got to be Carson Wentz. It still has to be. Like the guy almost had an MVP season. Probably would have won a Super Bowl, maybe 2. I don't know. Carson Wentz is a tough one. You'll hear a lot of hemming and hawing when we talk about Carson Wentz on tomorrow's podcast. But that's going to do it for me. My time at the wall has ended. We will be back sometime tomorrow. Make sure you're following us on the socials, at the FF Ballers on Twitter, at Fantasy Footballers on Instagram, or YouTube. I guess youtube.com/thefantasyfootballers. Whatever. We're everywhere. Find us on social media. Make sure you subscribe so you get the alert. We're not telling you when we go live because we don't know when we're going live. Brooks, we don't know. It's a bit of a wild card. But thank you for joining me for this short hype session for Football is Back. Training camp tomorrow. Get hyped. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Keep it beautiful. I have to end it? Hold on. Let's try it again. Brooks, where were you earlier? Keep it beautiful. Mwah.